Fingerprint leading cases in USA and Philippines.
People versus Jennings, the United States leading case wherein the first conviction based on fingerprint was recognized by the judicial authorities. People versus Jennings became the first official case to integrate fingerprints as plausible evidence in America, after prints found at the crime scene correctly identified Thomas Jennings as the murderer of Clarence Hilla. People versus Medina, first conviction based on fingerprint, and the leading judicial decision in the Philippine jurisprudence. Agripino Ruiz made an impression as the first expert witness whose expert opinion receives merit in Philippine judicial history. This could be considered a landmark case where fingerprint evidence serves as basis in the conviction of Marciano Medina. Dates to remember: 1883. Mark Twain, in his book Life on the Mississippi, a murderer was identified by the use of fingerprint identification. 1886. USA International Association of Chiefs of Police, IACP, National Bureau of Criminal Identification for exchange of arrest information. 1902. In New York State of Prison in Albany claims the first practical, systematic use of fingerprints in the U.S. to identifying criminals. 1903. The fingerprints were adopted in the following penitentiaries: Sing Sing, Napanic, Auburn, Ans Clinton. 1905. Fingerprinting was officially adopted by the U.S. Army. It was known as the first military use of fingerprint. 1907. Fingerprinting was officially adopted by the U.S. Navy. It was known as the first Navy use of fingerprint. 1908. Fingerprinting was officially adopted by the U.S. Marine Corps. 1908. The first official fingerprint card was developed. 1911. The state of Illinois, USA made the first criminal conviction based solely in fingerprint evidence. It was known as the first judicial ruling as such evidence. 1914. Fingerprints were officially adopted in France, replacing Bertillonage anthropometry. 1915. A group of 22 identification personnel initiated the International Association for Criminal Identification. The organization was renamed to International Association for Identification, II. 1916. First organized School for Teaching Fingerprint, Institute of Applied Science, Chicago. 1918. Edmund Locard wrote that if 12 points Galton's details were the same between two fingerprints, it would suffice as a positive identification. 1924. The Identification Division of Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, was established after J. Edgar Hoover was appointed as director. 1946. The FBI had processed 100 million fingerprint cards in manually maintained files, and 1971 to 100 million cards. 1974. The first professional fingerprint organization was formed in United Kingdom, the National Society of Fingerprint Officers, NSFO. 1977. At New Orleans, Louisiana, on August 1, 1977, the IAL voted to establish the world's first certification program for fingerprint experts, Certified Latent Print Examiners, CLPES. 1980. First computer database was developed, which came to be known as the Automated Fingerprint Identification System, AFIS. 2007. The largest AFIS in America is operated by the Department of Homeland Security's U.S. Visit program, containing 74 million persons' fingerprints, primary in the form of 2F finger records. Fingerprint events in the Philippines. 1. Mr. Jones, one who first taught fingerprint in the Philippine Constabulary in the year 1900. 2. Bureau of Prison Records show that in 1918, Carpetus already used fingerprint. 3. Out LT, Asa, and N. Darby established a modern and complete fingerprint. Files for Philippine Commonwealth during the reoccupation of the Philippines by the American forces. 4. Generoso Reyes, first Filipino fingerprint technician employed by the Philippine Constabulary. 5. Isabella Bernales, first Filipina fingerprint technician. 6. Capt. Thomas Duggan, New York Police Department, and Flavio Guerrero, FBI. Washington gave the first examination in fingerprinting in 1927, and Agustin Patricio of the Philippines topped the examination. 7. People of the Philippines versus Medina, first conviction based on fingerprint leading to judicial decision in the Philippine jurisprudence. 8. Plaridel education system, now known as the Philippine College of Criminology, the first government-recognized school to teach the science of fingerprint and other police sciences. 9. The first National Bureau Identification 1924 was created by the Act of Congress. The Bureau was established with the U.S. DOJ, Washington, D.C.